Welcome back to JPTV. We're your new anchors, Kitty Friday and Owen Lundberg. We're excited to dive into this week's show and show you what's been going on around nationally and around campus. And now to our first segment.
In some national news, Tropical Storm Beta made landfall September 21st. This is the 23rd storm in the 2020 hurricane season. It had a storm surge of 5 feet and 15 inches in rainfall. Not nearly as bad as Hurricane Sally or Hurricane Laura, who made landfall a month before Tropical Storm Beta. In some other national news, the coronavirus death count has reached a national breaking high in the United States, over 200,000 deaths throughout the country. We also have over 7 million cases across the states. California is currently taking the lead with almost 820,000 cases, and Mississippi is currently at number 24. And now, a quick commercial break.
This year, because of COVID, pep rallies for the junior high and high school have looked a lot different. The junior high has had 2 outside pep rallies and 1 inside pep rallies with the entire junior high, while the high school has had 1 inside and 2 outside. The inside pep rally consisted of only seniors and the football players, which most people found very awkward. While the pep rally held outside had all grades 10th through 12th, the football team, and parents. This week's pep rally theme is camo and is outside, and the whole high school can attend this pep rally.
The week leading up to the J Prep football game is well known by the Jackson Prep students. We visited male cheerleader Michael Causey to talk about Fight Week.
Fight Week is all about making people mad and getting under their skin and getting the competitive edge on our rival, the Jackson Remedial School, so that when we come out Friday, we're already ahead.
This week, students met with their advisors for the first time since being back on campus. Students were all happy to see their advisors and to catch up after this long time apart. We interviewed Mr. Britt and Miss Box to get some inside information on advisory and how it will look this year.
What's the reason behind advisory?
Well, advisory is really important because it does a couple things for us. One is it lets our students have access to another person in the school that they may not have access to be their advocate and be their connection. It's important. The other side, for somebody like me who's not a teacher, who's not a coach, it's just a wonderful opportunity for me to get to know 8 or 9 kids that I would not have known on a different level. So really, it's about connection, it's about relationships, it's about trying to make sure that students feel like they have another adult that they could go to, whether it be in confidence or not, or just relationships. So for me, it's all about connecting students with adults and other faculty that they may not otherwise have been connected.
And do you have a favorite thing about advisory, like favorite part?
I guess my favorite part is when sometimes we do, in my group, we do like a little personality test, and it's so much fun to watch what comes back, and we talk about it in the group, and they look at each other and go, well, yeah, that's you, or somebody goes, well, that wasn't me, but at the end of the day, it really defines a lot of different things and creates a lot of fun, because then the students know, hey, we are different. You know, we do have different sort of personalities. We do have different strengths and skills and things, but being different is what makes us sort of unique and fun. But that's a fun thing for me.
Will advisory start to meet weekly? And if so, what is the schedule for the meetings?
Well, we had our first meeting today of the semester, and so our plan is we had this one today, and then we'll have one more in the spring, hopefully at the beginning of the spring semester, and then just as we see how it's going as far as small groups meeting inside, we'll see if advisory can meet more often, but it will not meet on a weekly basis as of yet.
And what will be different about advisory this year? And then there are already changes?
Well, we've asked our advisors to contact their advisees like one-on-one. And they can set up like Zoom meetings if they want to with their whole group, since we can't meet in person as often. And so, yeah, it's just kind of a touch base, and we want our advisors to be sure they're keeping up with the advisees throughout the year.
Do all the staff members on campus have an advisory group?
Almost all of the staff members do. There are some that don't, like Mr. Coco doesn't because he has extra responsibilities, of course. And then there are a few others that can't because of their roles in the school. But most of the staff, I would say probably 98% of our staff and faculty have an advisory group.
And now, to your sports anchor, Parker Griffiths.
This past week was full of highs and lows for the Patriots. One of the highs will be the girls soccer team defeating Hartfield Academy 2-1 as they head into the playoffs. With this season coming to an end, it would be a memorable season for Coach Duncan as he achieved his 700th win. On last Friday, the Jackson Patriots took a long trip to Smith County to play against the Taylorsville Tartars. The Patriots started out the game slow as the Tartars would put 28 points in the first 2 quarters. But the Patriots weren't done yet, leading the charge with 154 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, Matt Jones, and the Patriots would battle back into the game, getting the lead going into the 4th quarter. But they didn't have enough gas left in the tank to finish, as for the Tartars would come out with the win. Leaving Smith County, Prep returns home with the record of 3-1. This week, the Pats will take on Jackson Academy Raiders. The baseball program will be upgrading their field from grass to turf thanks to generous donations that are part of an overall campaign to upgrade the facilities around the campus. The reason the baseball field is being done first because we can start, finish, and use it before the season starts. The 2020 baseball team was unable to play a single home game due to rainouts, a flood, and the corona, canceling the last half of the season. Hopefully this field is a solution. Jackson Prep will be the first independently funded school in Mississippi with an all-turf baseball field. This process will span across several months and will be well worth it, as the 2021 season will be looking up to get their 4th consecutive championship as the first team to play on the new field. The wait is finally over. The last week of the NFL officially started the regular season, so as you know, fantasy football starts as well. Fantasy football is where you draft skilled players on your team and go out and compete with other teams in your league. The team with the most points wins the game for the week. The main objective is to win as many games as possible so you can make it to the playoffs and, of course, try to win your league. In Week 1, the Las Vegas Raiders running back Josh Jacobs and Seattle Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson were the top performers, putting up nearly 32 fantasy points each. In Week 2, the top 2 running backs in fantasy football, Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey, both suffered significant injuries. Barkley was projected to score 18 points against the Chicago Bears, but he suffered a torn ACL. Barkley will now miss the remainder of the season, which will be a tough loss for the New York Giants. Christian McCaffrey was projected to score 20 points against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but suffered a high ankle sprain and will miss 6 to 8 weeks. If you drafted these running backs, then it's time to regroup. Week 3 is coming up, and according to ESPN, Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson and New Orleans Saints running back Alvin Kamara are the top 2 projected players to score most points. Lamar Jackson is going up against the reigning Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, and is expected to have a breakout performance, while Alvin Kamara is facing the Green Bay Packers, who are ranked the 6th ranked best defense in the NFL, according to ESPN. And now to commercial.
Jackson Prep. It's a place for artists, a place for scholars,
a place for athletes,
an all-around amazing place
to be who you are and all that you aspire to be.
Discover your Jackson Prep possibilities.
Join us for a tour.
We're back with our question of the week. In preparation for the upcoming game, we asked a few students what they thought the final score would be.
What do you think the score of the JA Prep game is going to be?
23-7, Prep.
Olivia, what do you think the score of the JA Prep game is going to be?
Prep wins 42-36.
Yes. What do you think the score of the JA Prep game is going to be?
I think it's going to be 31-17 Prep.
Joshua, what do you think the score of the JA Prep game is going to be?
21-20.
Sheila, what do you think the score of the JA Prep game is going to be?
42-0 Prep.
Thank you so much again for tuning in to JPTV. We can't wait to bring you more weekly news. This is Owen Lundberg,
Kitty Friday,
and Parker Griffiths.
Go Prep, beat JA.